Most recently, a video clip appeared on the internet in which a girl defiantly eats peach. She is brightly made up and also dressed in men's clothing. Internet users are very dissatisfied with the fact that such a cutie has a peach. Some even claim to be so gentle. The style destroys the masculinity that Daxia's women have built up for millennia. In the past, women, they were evaluated either as beauties or as needlewomen, but the masculine style destroys image. In response to this method of perverting aesthetic development, TV and radio companies, Daxia announced that they intend to put an end to the wrong aesthetic of the cutie by looking in the phone. Overweight guy didn't understand what was going on. He mentally assumed that it was divine rebirth. It turns out that it's been 2 days since he ended up in the world. He still couldn't get used to this heavy mortal body and crazy world. Before rebirth, he was a descendant of the emperor. One wave of his hand blotted out the sky. It was a truly impressive sight. However, it is very difficult for him to open a news page every day, feed and see how men are insulted. A world without cultivators is a modern world where the roles of men and women were reversed. Women take men as their husbands and provide for them, family, and men take care of their appearance. The worst part is that the meager spiritual energy of this mirror has damaged his soul again, so it's not easy for him to regain his strength. But the demon was there, too strong. They fought to destroy this endless void. The fact that he was able to survive, just an accident. The rest of his soul was trapped in the void vortex. It's a miracle that he was able to get in another world and find the body that just died in order to be reborn. Speaking of this body, I think its name is Lin Mo. From his memories, the hero learned that he was an ordinary rich kid at the best private high school. The cultivator doesn't know if he has been reborn. Lee Mazan is just like him. In any case, before his power returns, all he can do is use it. Lin Mo's personality. It seems that the emperor is also going to school. This guy's family is pretty good. It's a pity that this house isn't as big as its fish pond. His parents died in a car accident when he was a kid. The guardian grandmother is now in the hospital due to illness, Alzheimer's disease. After that, my aunt started looking after me, and her family moved in with them. And all what was his became theirs. Living expenses were reduced to a negligible amount. The real owner of the body is weak-willed and spineless. It doesn't do anything. He couldn't change the situation, so he just had to endure in silence, putting on a decent one. Finally, the hero went to the kitchen, where the whole family was already gathered at the table. There were 3 people in total. The first was Liu Yungjin's uncle. It was a young man with glasses and a very calm look in his eyes. His bangs covered his right eye. The other was Lin Zixuan's cousin. This is a guy with red expressive eyes, from one smile of which you could understand that he likes to make fun of Lin Mo. The third person was Aunt Lin Lai. It was a woman, with glasses and short purple hair. It was she who spoke, noting what she had heard from the other side of the room. The school news has something important, so He Yonghu is right that his engagement to her is complete. This is absurd. The reborn one remembers who Hyo Yonghu is. This is the man that my grandmother. I was going to introduce you to the real owner of the body before I got sick. But the problem is that He Yonghu was scared when she found out. She refuses to communicate with a guy due to the fact that he fat. This greatly upset the owner of the body, which is why he was careless, running out on the road where he was accidentally hit by a car. Since his aunt said so, it seems to be a prenuptial. The contract was also automatically terminated. This is very good news. There are women in this world. They marry men. So the hero does not understand how his generation could have married the emperors. After that, the aunt instructed Lin Mo not to show any signs of aggression in the future. No amateur activities with prenuptial agreements that somehow concern her. Lin Lai notices that this child is behaving differently today. She has an inexplicable feeling. Oppression. Papa Danet sits down at the table with the rest of the family. It turns out that he hasn't eaten ever since I lost my appetite. He absolutely does not want to eat now, but that this body does not starve to death, he'll have to fight it out. Taking a small piece of food with chopsticks, I put it in my mouth. The smell and appearance of the dish was not bad, and it also tasted good. In that, his cousin advises him to transfer abroad. The guy pretends to care about the hero, hiding it behind a mask of hypocrisy. All her classmates know that he confessed to her in front of everyone, so he will be ashamed of it for the rest of his life. Papa Danitz mentally notes that all this is real nonsense, since the emperor has ruled for 10,000 years, and that has never been a matter of opinion. Hence, however, while he is here, he needs to play the role of an ordinary person. Lin Mo assures that he is quite satisfied with this school. The interlocutor stands his ground, saying that while he receives grades, it doesn't matter where he goes to school. The hero wants his cousin to get rid of him by keeping quiet for a while. Another 100 years. An hour passes. Two relatives are given a ride by a driver to school. Lin Zuxuan asks his cousin not to follow him out of the car at the same time. The hero throws on. He gives me a sour look, but doesn't say anything back. A herd runs down the boy's back. Goosebumps, but he quickly goes to school. The reborn one comes out in a minute from cars. He pauses at the entrance to the school, enjoying the view and acknowledging that the architecture in this world is quite new. But the surrounding guys are one more dazzling than the other, and they show off their white legs. Women look normal. Then the emperor hears that two girls were admiring his cousin's legs. He realizes that it's just obscene. The hero himself is very hard now because the world seems to have gone mad. Lin Mo is going with. He calms himself down with his thoughts because he doesn't know if the demon got here, but he will definitely. He'll show up when he's strong enough. Chapter 1-2. As Lin Mo walks through the corridors of the school, he remembers where his class is from memory. From the threshold of the same, girls start teasing them. They also bully Yanhui, who is silent, tolerates it all. The girl, seeing that the guy entered the classroom, clucks loudly. The emperor can't describe in words how boring these mortals are. He only holds his gaze for a moment at the girl, then goes to the last desk. This surprises everyone present. The hero reflects on how to restore his strength, because the divine power, the gifts of heaven, and however, even ordinary training is difficult for him. Then a woman's hand falls on the guy's shoulder, which emphasizes that she said she didn't like him, but he still didn't like her. I listened to it. A neighbor at the desk notices that real life is not some kind of TV series, so if I listened to her, even though she's not an expert, I wouldn't make an idiot of myself. This girl's name is Song Yuncha. She's his roommate. The interlocutor asks the guy to think who in general could fall in love with him. Noticing the hero's impassive face, she realizes that she has gone a little too far. Sun corrected by saying that even a fat guy has a chance. If he lost weight and dressed up, then Younghui. Definitely pay attention to it. She believes that there are no ugly men, but there are lazy ones. Lin Mo calmly clarifies what the girl needs. She's a little surprised, not quite understanding how the guy feels. I guessed it. He also explains that she wasn't so interested before. Sun admits that. I wanted to ask a neighbor for a favor. The hero immediately says that there is nothing he can do to help. However, a representative of the fair sex tells about her request. She wants him to. I played with her. It won't be long. And then she'll introduce him to a much better girl than he. Jianghui. They will go to Mount Wazhu in the summer, and he can join them. If the guy decides to go. If you're alone, you'll never make it to the top. But if you set a goal, it'll be easy for her. The girl notes that the guy cannot even imagine what kind of view of the stars opens with tops, so if he refuses, he'll regret it for the rest of his life. The emperor is not interested in neither the view from the mountain, nor the appearance of a new girl. He had heard that Mount Wazhu was soaking up the pure aura. It's considered the highest and most beautiful place, so there's probably a lot of space there. The accumulation of energy, so the offer of the interlocutor sounds tempting, because if he goes on foot, you will have to say goodbye to this pathetic little body. The guy agrees, noting that he's not much of a player. Sung is happy about this, asking neighbor Yon to worry, as he has a nice day. Voice. It turns out that she has a third-grade goofball on her team who can only do that. She wants to find a player who will be more useful. The captain said that it will help if they have a guy with them. His job is to talk more. They can take advantage of school equipment after school hours. The hero accepts this. School hours are flying by, unnoticed. The girl says that she specifically canceled all classes at the club for today, so that no one interferes with them during the game. They sit down at their computers, and Sun immediately clarifies whether the guy has an account. He gives a positive answer by connecting to the network. In a few moments later, they find themselves in the game world. A neighbor warns that the captain she is trying to reach is a friend of mine. She invited them, the champion, so she will go ahead, and they only need to follow her. Another female character appears nearby. She is surprised that her friend actually brought it. The guy, so she'll know where he's from right away. Lin Mo calmly replies that he is her classmate. The voice champion understands that he is a schoolboy. She gives him a loving look, and Sung the same reminds that she started a 3-on-3 battle, and the victory will depend on the number defeated enemies. The champion asks the couple to stand still and watch her smash them. Everyone. The classmate also breaks forward, asking the guy to hide while she is waiting for him. Look around. Papadanites also reflect on the world of the game. Cultivators in this world. Mythical creatures. Sword fighting, spells, healing. The game's setting is similar to this world. He assumes that there really are spellcasters in this world, so the Emperor decides not to let his guard down. After some time, you receive an alert that the killer card is being used. The cat was killed by a flying feather. The champion is reborn next to the hero, stating that she lost. The girl again breaks into battle, saying that they learn from mistakes, so she will take revenge on them. Through a couple of moments later, a second notification arrives about her death. The champion starts to get angry, breaking down into battle. At this time, Sun reports that he is rushing to the rescue, noting that the enemy team there must be a leader. In the hero's team, several deaths occur in a row. This brings up the neighbor out of herself because she doesn't understand why her little sister is dying, because she specially brought a pretty boy to raise your spirits. The leader says that the flying feather is in the top 100 champions of the game. Sung asks the guy to be careful because the feather is coming straight to him. Lin Mo keeps you completely calm. If he feels danger, he avoids it. It's an instinct, accumulated over tens of thousands of years. Besides, the Emperor shouldn't be killed by a mortal. Even in the game, the character of the hero breaks off, starting to run away. At this time, the game team consists of girls communicate with each other. The flying feather turns out to be a girl named Yutan. It really is one of the top 100 champions of the game. A team member notes that one opponent is running away. The girl notices that he will not run away anywhere. Lin Mo notices that the enemy is chasing him. He stops, realizing that so what? From the moment he became emperor, he was never hunted. He disappears abruptly into the bushes. This reaction strikes the opponent. The hero also realizes that attacks in this game are a test. You don't have enough stamina, and you won't be able to win just by using your body, but you can use your spiritual power to temporarily strengthen your character. Yutan easily finds the guy, thinking that this swordsman doesn't know how to hide. She takes him for a real noob. The girl jumps out of the bushes, attacking from the ground. Surprisingly, Lin Mo was just waiting for this, looking for the right moment to attack. The energy shot overtakes the enemy. The system notifies that a flying feather has been killed. Little Momo, Yutan's two girlfriends are at a loss. One of them suggests that there was a pro player in a male guise. The girl herself freezes in place, not knowing what to say. Sun praises his classmate, believing that he has a real talent. The guy bows his head, not at all happy about this development. This starts to worry the neighbor. It turns out that even the slightest use of the powers of a damaged soul can seriously weaken the physical body. So the Emperor's actions hurt himself. Yutan is very angry that she was overpowered by a team of kiddas. Her teammates ask her to come too. Nim, however, has little time left. Then she notices the hero. He continues to run, which is a little. The girl is surprised because they don't seem to be playing catch up. She takes off, deciding to take it. A rematch. Lin Mo notices that he is being chased again, so he decides to fight again. He stops, releasing an attack at the enemy. Yutang is amazed that the opponent released the skill from such a distance, hoping to injure her. She tries to dodge, but the magic sword hits her leg. The girl falls to the ground, wondering what was happening. She assumes that it was a warning to stop. I'll give chase. Meanwhile, the killer kitty kills her teammates, and the game ends. Her friend notices that they lost, and Song Yunshu is probably laughing at them now. The champion grabs the girl by the scruff of the neck, demanding that she drag the opponents here. Really interested in baby Momo. Sun gets a phone call. She agrees to the meeting. The neighbor offers the hero to go with her because there is a possibility that that girl fell in love with him. Lin Mo refuses, thanks for offer and asking not to forget about the promise. The girl also invites her friends to a meeting. The Emperor returns home, then falls on the bed in his clothes. The body is too weak to withstand this force. The next morning, the hero goes to school. However, someone stops him on the way. The cousin tells him that Yonghui is asking him to explain to his classmates that there is no marriage contract. There was no contract because everyone laughs at her. Supposedly she likes fat people. The hero understands why to explain something that didn't happen. The interlocutor perceives such behavior as arrogance. When a guy enters the classroom, his neighbor calls him to her. She tells us that flying feather was Zhao Yutang. These words do not give the hero anything, so he demands some explanation. The girl says that this is the same Zhang Yutan from their school. Sun Mi understands why the guy became such a pushover after getting his heart broken. She decides, don't dig into it by just saying that the headman wants to see him or baby Momo. However, the guy should not worry because she will not do anything wrong. Lin Mo gives a menacing look on the interlocutor, from which she immediately shies away. He claims that he is not baby Momo, At this moment, Young-hui walks up to the reborn's desk. She hits the desk, trying to get out of it. To draw attention to yourself and want to clarify something. She recalls that he said that their marriage, this isn't a joke. The neighbor stands up for the guy, who notes that a classmate is crossing the borders, because Lin Mo is a boy, so they should show at least a little compassion. Young-hui doesn't understand what's wrong with Song, so she presses her, asking if it's an accident. She doesn't like the guy. The neighbor tries to calm herself down. The emperor notices that already. It doesn't matter if it was a joke or not, there's nothing between them right now. This surprises the girl. She quickly comes to her senses, urging the interlocutor to remove this mask of indifference, because he is forever. I've been bugging her about this marriage thing, and she's tired of listening to it. Young-hui notes that it's fine. She knows about the guy's feelings for her, but when she comes to their house, she only looks at Lin Zixuan. The classmates are amazed at Lin Mo's strength, because he didn't even cry. One of the guys, he admits that he would have run away to his place long ago. Then the door to the classroom opens, which attracts the attention of those present and makes the guys admire. Yu-tan enters the room with his team. One of the guys tells a rumor that little sister Zhao is sarcastic, rich, and unapproachable, and anyone who gets in her way is thrown out of the picture. School. Yu-tang points to the back of the classroom. Young-hui thinks they're talking to her. Therefore, she starts to sweat nervously, but the blonde calls baby Momo to come out. Boys. They look at each other, not understanding who little Momo is. Sun asks for a neighbor. Respond to it. The hero also mentally notes that the emperor cannot be a baby. Momo. This is making him very angry. My classmates are wondering what Lin Mo has in mind. Business with Yu-tan and why she calls him baby Momo. The friend apologizes, saying that she wanted to play one-on-one with him. She wants to. The guy still played with her and then can already kill her. The hero also notices that nearby, too many people. He goes out into the corridor where Yu-tan is already waiting for him. The blonde thought that baby Momo is a girl. She's a little surprised that it's a guy. Lin Mo also remembers. Interesting fact. In ancient times, women wore a skirt to conquer the world, and now it is an ordinary item of clothing. The girl asks if he is the same guy who played with her yesterday. After, if there is no positive answer, she asks why he was running away. The same person answers that he scored points. This, annoying Yu-tan. She declares that after school they will fight one-on-one. The emperor replied that he doesn't play games, and yesterday he beat her by accident. After that, without waiting for a response, he says goodbye as he enters the classroom. This angers the blonde, who decides to ask her friend if this guy knows Fatty, who is Zhao Yu-tan. The same one laughs back. The girl still pulls herself together and tells her that Lin Mo was recently rejected, so he is very upset. He worries, which is why he behaves as if he is not afraid of her. Yu-tan orders her friends, bring it to the site at noon. She accepts the order. Classmates want to know that Yu-tan, I told the hero and what she needed. The guy ignores them, silently taking his seat. Sun is the same. She notices that he beat her yesterday, so when he plays one-on-one with her, he shouldn't try too hard. She also bows her head with a sign of apology, adding that Zhu Wai take him to Mount Wazhu to pick up a pair of beauties. Lin Mo notes that you don't need to take up no one. Sun assumes that the neighbor wants to spend time together. It scares her, so she claims to be a real bitch, and when she's wearing a skirt, she ignores everyone, so she's even worse than Young-hui, so he shouldn't fall for her. The hero bows his head, just wishing this girl would shut up. At the end of class, Yu-tan's friend comes into the classroom. She wants to take the guy to the playroom, but he's already gone. The girl tells her friend that she screwed up a little. At this time, the hero is in the dining room. Others whisper about his weight. He asks the cook to wrap up his food with him. Emperor, get out of the building. The mortal world seems too noisy for him. He can't get used to this one. He hoped that no one would disturb him. At this time, traffic is moving through the school grounds. A beautiful girl. She says Han Zini is seriously ill. It would be a miracle if she lived 3 more years, but there is a chance. You just need to connect with the deity. They have the same names, which means they're special. All her wishes will be fulfilled. The guys throw amorous glances at the beauty. She also notices that she made the right choice. Now the 18 years she has lived will be hers. It is a pity that her joys and sorrows are only a matter of time. Little things for Wang Yang. She thinks that she did a great job for Fan Zai and was able to kill him. The emperor. She hoped that she would be happy, but on the contrary, she feels only emptiness. Everything you need. What she wants is to revive the demon world. After that, she shuts her mind, realizing that the emperor has a lot of trump cards up his sleeve, so killing him will be problematic. She assumes that he is also in this world, so she should be more careful. Girl admits that this world is really interesting. In her own world, no matter how hard she tried, but it was just the same. I couldn't get my father's approval just because I was born a girl. These fucking louts looked down on her and only wanted to possess her, but that only lasted until then. Until she put on the evil spirit mask and killed them. That's how they became afraid of her. Here, men have no privileges, and the culture is not bad, so there is a problem with spiritual energy. In addition, it is too beautiful, which is why there is no end of guys. Then she notices that the fat man, still following her. The girl assumes that it just smells good. She stops abruptly. The hero stops in front of her. The girl urges him not to follow her, because between them, it can't be anything. Linmo just passes by, calling her crazy. It's driving. Beauty and paint. Her brain boils, and she decides that she needs to recover as quickly as possible. Power up and get out of this world. The girl breaks down the stairs after the guy, deciding to fulfill the wish, since she made her promise. He runs out onto the roof, where the fat man is standing at the edge, looking down. From the outside, it seems that he really is. He wants to commit suicide. She holds out her hand forwards, ordering them to step back, but she quickly realizes that she has no strength in this world. Linmo also enjoys the peace and coolness, deciding to eat before going downstairs. The beauty calls him to stop. She runs over from behind and grabs it. The hero doesn't understand what she's doing. The girl lifts the guy on her, pulling him away from the edge. The same one demands that she leave. Through. For a moment, she can't support the fat man's weight, causing them both to fall on their backs. Linmo, it turns out to be on top. There is a crunch of bones, which does not bode well. Guy, she says that she was just thinking, after which he clarifies what she needs. Representative. The fairer sex growls that she just wanted to know what he would do, and if he wanted to. If he dies, then he should not cause problems to others. She grabs her torso, realizing that I broke a rib. All the Emperor's anger disappears, because there was a misunderstanding. He watches carefully as the girl struggles to get to her feet, making sure that the mortals can't get up. Very fragile, and that women are the stronger sex, but even those are not iron. The guy gives her a helping hand, which makes her look puzzled. He explains that she has a very rich imagination, because he just wanted to get some air, so he went to the beach. I wasn't going to jump on the roof. The hero also emphasizes that the girl is not interesting to him. It really hurts the pride of a female. She pushes his helping hand away, demanding that he leave, so that she wouldn't see him again. Linmo starts to leave, making a mental note that the Emperor. It almost never works, but no one has ever rejected it. For him, women in this world are very important. Strange, because they embrace others, even if they don't agree. The hero returns to the classroom and he takes his seat. The next door neighbor also decides to find out where he was, because Zhao Yutan and the girls were looking for him, so now they won't let go so easily. Linmo glares at her, telling her to figure it out for herself, because she was the one who started this mess. Sun declares that this won't do, so they'll go play with Yutan after school. Girl explains that the opponent had a terrible day yesterday, so he needs to let her win, and she will. Calm down. The guy doesn't agree with this, because the Emperor never loses. He can't just retreat like that. In addition, the hero believes that you cannot let the girl win just to make her happy. The neighbor tries to reason with the fat man, saying that Zhao Yutang is the eldest in the family, so they are just specks of dust to her, so they can't take that risk. The Emperor reminds us that she is the one who started all this. The girl justifies herself, noting that I didn't know that he would beat the champion, because for that it is an insult. Sun is willing to do anything for Linmo to just agree to lose to Yutang. Even if he asks her out on a date, she'll never know. He'll agree, but it doesn't work on the guy. His answer remains unchanged. Lessons are ending. The reborn man is going home, reminding his neighbor about Mount Washu. Once outside, suddenly he remembers the strange girl who tried to save him from suicide. He realizes that he has broken her rib, but he is experiencing a strange flow of feelings, not knowing if she should, whether she cared about him or not. The Emperor realizes that he has completely forgotten that mortals are very fragile. He notices that the girl, I did break a rib, but the ambulance never arrived. The guy assumes that she lost consciousness. Then it dawns on him that the lives of people in this world are very valuable, so if the police find him, he's finished. He takes off, deciding to go back and check it out. At that time, a representative of the fair sex really stayed on the roof. A mortal's body is too much, weak enough to get up with such an injury. In addition, it is very windy and cold on the roof. I want to eat. She starts yelling for help because her phone's battery is dead. Here it is, torn by doubts, because she is a demon who cannot ask for help, so it is decided that it is better to just die here. She admits that she did not expect such a development. Events. The demon believes that only the emperor can kill her in this world, so it's very sad that she had suffered at the hands of some fat man. At that moment, footsteps resound on the roof. Hero appears in front of her. The girl immediately boldly asks why he came here. Guy. He gets down on one knee, which causes panic in the victim. He admits that the girl is not so stupid. I didn't even call for help. The emperor gently touches her waist, which causes her to embarrassment at the demon, who immediately demands to remove his hands. The guy notices that the rib is it's broken. He also emphasizes that the interlocutor's body is very fragile, so she needs more. Do sport. The beauty also declares that it is not for him to talk about it, because of his weight. A broken bone, so if he was thinner, it wouldn't have happened. The hero starts to unbutton buttons on the jacket. This makes the girl blush profusely, because she doesn't understand what he is doing. I was going to do it. The guy just throws his clothes over her, saying that it's cold in here and it is worth throwing it on and calm down. He admits that all this happened because of a misunderstanding. So now he would call an ambulance and they would be even. Lin Mo calls an ambulance on his mobile phone, after which the girl asks him to pick up his jacket. She notes that she understands perfectly well that she doesn't like the clothes of some fat man, but she will have to be patient because people are too weak, so she can take it off when the ambulance arrives. Then the demon realizes to himself that he does not despise others because of their position. She didn't think that he'll be such a nice guy. The world demands a lot from men, and he's fat. Girl understands that you should be more attentive. She thinks it's funny that people are so fixated on appearances that do not notice the inner world. As soon as the ambulance arrives, the hero conducts medics to the victim. Two girls passing by assume that someone got into a fight. At this time, the demon covers his face with his hands, blushing with shame and cursing the gods for his actions. Self-mockery. In the late afternoon, the emperor returns home by taxi. From the doorway, he is bombarded with questions from his cousin, who wants to know why Zhao Yutang. She was looking for him and how he hooked her. Lin Mo ignores him. Then the evil cousin repeats his own question without letting the other person enter the house. The emperor warns us not to repeat it. There will be more and requires you to leave. The look that falls on the boy makes the latter tense. He does not understand where that naive boy disappeared, because from his current relative he goes. Goosebumps all over my body. My cousin says it can't be helped that he's so fat. I am sure that the fat man provoked her, so he urges him not to create problems for the family. The emperor just ignores the chatterbox, which makes him even angrier. My cousin reminds me that the guy is no longer a child, so he should believe that he can make his mother throw him out of this house. Lin Mo stops, turning half a turn and saying that a relative forgot something important. This is his house. This completely pisses the kid off, so he raises his hand to teach Tom a lesson. The hero easily intercepts the hand. A fool for a brush. Lin Mo twists his cousin's arm, amazed that with such poor physical fitness, the mortal wanted to do something to him. The same one asks you to stop it. The emperor gets tired of all this. He throws Chatterbox to the floor, telling him to just get out. The same one, with tears in his eyes, runs away to his father's house. Second floor to complain about. The uncle comes down in an apron to the hero, asking how dare he beat up your cousin. He raises his hand to punish him. The reborn one intercepts a blow in the same way, causing the uncle to instantly admit defeat. Lin Mo also gives. His uncle's advice was that the man was no longer in his way. The man claims that his nephew is behaving abominably. He starts calling out to his wife, claiming that if she didn't come down, Lin Mo would beat him and their son up. My aunt goes downstairs. A loud voice silences the husband and son. She approaches the hero. Looking into his eyes, he realizes that this boy has changed. My aunt points out that it doesn't matter what's here. It happened because it was his fault, so he should immediately apologize to his uncle and mother. The cousin. The emperor notices in his mind that Lin Lai is the first person to ask Ben Dai to apologize. The guy passes by the woman, saying that the guilty should apologize, and this is not about him. Then she warns that he can forget about pocket money if he does not ask. Excuse me. The hero accepts this, remaining with his opinion. He goes into his room and closes the door. As Lin Mo puts out his things, he realizes that money is a stumbling block, because without it, there will be a problem. It is difficult to get food on Mount Wazhu, so he should find a living. The guy notices that in It's not much else to sell, and the money for personal expenses has run out. He's got everything. There are also sets of clothes and socks. It turns on the computer and logs onto the network to see if they can be sold. After placing an ad, he is amazed that it is very fast. A customer appears. 3 different girls write about the purchase. The first one specifies whether this one is branded thing. The second one asks if they smell like it. And the third one wants him to send a picture. Emperor. After reading these messages, he falls out of his chair. The emperor has never been afraid of the devil, but these ladies give him the creeps. He decides, now delete the ad, because who knows what they want to do with his clothes. Lin Mo. It is amazing that such a small thing as money was able to drive into a dead end. He takes off his shirt, deciding, before going to bed, conduct a series of exercises, because he needs to regain his strength. Body base. Perfection. If it absorbs spiritual energy, money will no longer be such a problem. He decides to try to train the same way as in his previous life. 3 minutes pass. The guy falls onto the bed, sweating profusely. He was very exhausted, and even without spiritual energy, he couldn't. It will be able to support the body. Then his phone starts ringing. His desk mate calls. I wrote to him, but he didn't say so. The emperor still asks what is the matter. Girl. He reminds me that there's nothing wrong, just that they're going to the mountain tomorrow. The hero doesn't understand. What is the problem? Sun notes that Yang Hui and his cousin are coming too, so she suggests going with him on another day, because this couple will mock him if he goes. The emperor, on the other hand, has never been bothered by ridicule, so he declares that he will go with her tomorrow. The girl no longer argues, simply saying not to be late and warning that the bus will be there tomorrow, near his house. Chapter 1:6. The next day arrives. Lin Mo goes to the kitchen to have breakfast. Cousin right away. She starts making fun of him, asking him why he got up so early today and asking him not to talk. That Yang Hui had invited him for a walk as well. The hero completely ignores the talkative relative while eating. This strikes the latter, who does not understand what is wrong with the guy. Happens. At this time, the bus pulls up to the house. Cousin says goodbye to everyone because the bus arrived. A girl gets off the bus and meets a guy. He wants to help him pack his luggage. The boy grabs the girl's hand, telling her that he's scared shitless. The interlocutor wants to find out what's going on. When they get on the bus, he tells them that it's all about Lin Mo by its name. Now that the girl had rejected him, he'd taken it out on him, and last night he'd taken it out on her. I pushed him and got into a fight with my father. All my classmates are shocked by this because for them it's terrible. Yang Hui decides that it would be the right decision not to take the guy to Mount Wazhu. Everyone who heard it. The violet-haired man's story supports this decision. Then Sun chimes in, saying, I don't know. Informs them that Lin Mo will be with them. One of the girls doesn't understand how it's going to work at all. Climb, because it is very fat. The girl explains that it will be slow, but they are the same. Odnaklasniki, so do not slander him like that. The interviewee decides to listen. A friend just because she's in charge today. Sun makes a mental note not to think about it. She might have expected him to actually go, and she was also afraid of seeing Yang Hui confused. But it was all right. All right. She wants to believe that if she takes it, nothing terrible will happen. After a while, a reborn person gets on the bus. He doesn't say hello to anyone when he goes to the hospital. End of the bus. Yang Hui blocks his way, wanting to know why he pushed Zixuan. The emperor glances at his cousin, who looks startled. He wonders what heroism is. Saves beauty. Then Sun puts a hand on her friend's shoulder, saying it's just a misunderstanding. Lin Mo isn't that terrible. A girl asks a friend to take her place and enjoy the amazing view. The hero sits down on the seat, after which the neighbor asks the driver to go to the next a place to pick up people. Lin Mo hoped that this time around, there would be no mishaps. Here it is. Notices a girl wearing a helmet on a motorcycle. She looks at him, which surprises the emperor. Instead, the rider accelerates. She passes the bus and slams to a stop, standing sideways. The driver slams on the brake and the passengers. They hit from an unexpected stop. The bus driver throws obscenities to the side. A motorcyclist. The girl goes to the transport. Along the way, she takes off her helmet, forcing the guys to blush. This is Zhao Yutan. Sung makes a hand-to-face gesture, realizing that she only came because of the Lin Mo. This girl is really only doing this because of losing. The guys start counting. That Yun Shu was able to call Yu Tang over with them, which is just great. The main one decides to go out and find out everything. The bus doors open and the blonde walks in. Sun immediately asks her what she's doing. The same. He says he's only here because of the fat man. If it wasn't for his fat face, she would have scored. Oh, the audience starts laughing at this. Yutan wants the hero not to go to the mountain, but to go with. She's in a coffee shop. Then she would let his ex, who had rejected him, come to him later. This causes confusion in Yanhui. The emperor asks the girl to stop bothering him. My classmates freeze. The laughter stops and there is silence. Yutan is amazed by this. Words. They make her very angry. And in her mind she notes that if it wasn't for his victory in that game, she would have. I would never have said a word to him in my life. The blonde pulls herself together, comes close to the guy and asks if he wants to fight or not. Here the hero notices a pendant around the neck of the interlocutor. The amulet contained a huge amount of aura. Although it was weak, it clearly belonged to a cultivator. The emperor understands that the execution technique is rather crude, and it doesn't look like it's very efficient. Coming out of the demon lord's hands. Obviously, it is difficult to get such a thing in this world, so it assumes that there is someone else in it. Yutan straightens up, repeating his question. The guy says that he will play only after a trip to Mount Wuzhou. In his mind, he notices that there was a possibility that he would be able to find a cultivator thanks to her. Sun starts calling out, my sister wants to go with them, because their goal is the top of the mountain. The others also join in. The blonde decides to ask if Lin Mo can climb to the top of Mount Wuzhou. Classmates, they also call on her to witness a miracle with them. Yutan takes a seat next to the hero, saying that he is a very popular fat guy, although a simple fat guy. However, she wants to see how he is. Climb to the top of the mountain. Then one of the guys comes up to her, offering to sit with him because there is another place that is not so crowded. The blonde shuts him up by recruiting servants and ordering him to leave. The last one to pick up his bike. The boy runs away in tears. Yutan decides to find out if the other person has games on his phone, because she wants to play with him now. Lin Mo gives a positive answer, adding that if she loses, then she needs to promise him something. The girl notices that this is quite bold, because it's better for the guy to prepare for losing. And running her errands, another guy runs up to Yutan, offering to play with him. The same, rudely and sharply dismisses him. Odnoklasniki are wondering if Lin Mo is good at games and why would Yutan want to play with him. They address these questions to Zixuan. The same one asks for, don't ask him about it, because what he really wants to know is why. What's happening really pisses him off. At this time, the couple starts the game. Yutan thinks that the opponent is just running away from her. However, he turns around during the flight, starting to aim at her. The girl is amazed that he is going to hit her at such a high speed. To the next, a moment later, the hero's attack overtakes her. The emperor emerges victorious. The blonde is in. She is confused until the guy informs her that she has lost. She lashes out at me, asking him questions, wanting to know how he did it and how he was able to. Lin Mo tells that everyone, each step in the game is well thought out, and while they are calculating everything, they will reach the goal, and even with a small amount of time. You can win with luck. At this point, the interlocutor is like a god in the eyes of a girl. She assumes that she has met a genius with even more talent than she has. Actually, the reborn one channeled spiritual energy into the brain and added a bit of luck. Yutan admits her defeat, saying that he could ask her for anything. The same person demands to translate it to him. 10,000 yuan. The blonde believes that this is a fairly small amount because she can transfer money to him every month, and she can also force his ex to come back to him, as long as he was her partner. The same one reports that it is not necessary, because it needs just money. This money is needed for physical training. He hands the phone to her and then says, I don't know. Her hands are shaking. She can't accept defeat. Yutan snatches the guy's phone, then performs a standard operation. Further, notifies him that she transferred money to him, and also wrote down her phone number so that he wouldn't dare reset it if she calls. The blonde returns the phone to the other person, noticing that he needs it. Don't call her yourself or give her number to anyone else. The hero also mentally understands that even as an emperor, he wasn't as arrogant as this woman. At this point, Yutan declares that it's cramped. She gets up from her seat, walks over to Yanhui, and orders her to leave. Hero's ex-wife, angry that she was finally able to sit next to Zixuan, who let her sit next to him. That pig. It's disgusting in her opinion. Two girls collide. Yutan demands that she hurry up. Yonghui can't do that in front of everyone, but she can't go against her opponent. It gets in the conversation. Zixuan, who notes that Wu notices that a friend had a conversation with Lin Mo. Girl, she rejoices inwardly because the guy helped her. She goes to the emperor, saying that she must make it clear that the prenuptial agreement was just a joke among adults. Actually, a cousin from the very beginning. I wanted to chat with Sister Yu. He makes an attempt to start a conversation. First, he introduces herself, then clarifies what she likes, and then notes that she is good at games, right? That he could play with her. The blonde cuts off all conversation, telling him to shut up. Zixuan is startled by the other party's words. He notices in his mind that he's not going to be quiet, right? Also these spirits, it is better to sit with an old man, since you can lean on a soft one. Thus, it stops and drops off schoolchildren who are amazed by the height of the mountain. One of the guys asks Zixuan to borrow sunscreen. My cousin asks if they're halfway to the top. Yang Hui asks him not to worry, because she is the only one who can help him. Help him when the time comes. The girls exchange knowing glances. They have a simple plan. As soon as the guys are tired, they will help them climb the mountain, and then they will not be able to get up. Not only can they eat tofu together, but they can also get closer to each other. After that, Sung commands, move out. After half an hour, they stop to rest. Guys complain that they have pain. My feet, and that they won't be able to walk anymore. The emperor realizes that these people are even weaker than him. Lin Mo steps aside, mentally wanting to crush them all for centuries, but he doesn't have the strength to do so. At this point, the girls begin to offer their help to the guys. Someone wants help with a bag, and someone is even ready to carry the guy on his back. Sun notices that, as expected, there is no one who can. He would take care of Lin Mo, and she wouldn't be able to take care of him herself, or else gossip would spread. 20 minutes pass. The fat man climbs the stairs to the top alone. It's hard. Lin Mo takes a small breather, admitting that in terms of physical strength, he is the weakest, though. These demons may be hypocritical, but they are very powerful. Sun looks back, noticing that his friend is almost there. I'm exhausted. She feels guilty for bringing him here herself, so she decides not to sit idly by. A neighbor offers to help him, but the emperor refuses her. Odd is moving forward. After all, mortals can't even imagine what he had to go through to become a human. The girl also suggests that when he saw his ex and cousin together, he himself became. Bring yourself pain. She can't understand why he's doing this. Sun is worried about his friend, noting that he should rest if he can no longer get up and she is later than him. He'll pick them up and they'll go ahead. The girls who got up before them are a little surprised. They admit that the fat man is strong, because they have already passed more than half. Guys are breathing hard, sweating profusely. They don't believe they can make it to the top. Lin Mo thinks he could have done it himself. Reach the top if you are more persistent.